Welcome to this edition of the Wonderbury podcast.
I'm Brian,
I'm Dave.
and you can find us online at wonderbury.com.
I am D Wonderly on Twitter.
Or I'm Brian Keysbury, anywhere the internet can be found.
You can leave us a comment, a post, musing on our website. So,
Yes.
yeah.
You can also go to my Instagram, just Brian Keysbury. Literally everywhere I am. If you're on a service, type in Brian Keysbury. I bet you will find me. But anyways, go to my Instagram. I got my book in. I got my Google Photos book.
Oh, nice.
Did a quick flip through of the book. It's a little video on there. It's also on my website, briankeysbury.com, I believe, which is mostly set up through IFTTT to just pull in stuff I post from everywhere.
That's good.
So of course it didn't pull the video from Instagram. But anyways.
So how's the actual page quality, the picture quality? Is it like photographs, or is it just kind of like a high quality paper, or?
It's not quite photograph. It's definitely a high quality paper. The binding's pretty decent. I went with the paperback just because it was my tester.
Yeah.
It's thick, but it's not like cardstock thick pages. So it feels durable. It's pretty decent for the money I spent on it. You know, I got it. It was $9.99, but then I added like 6 more pictures, so it ended up being about $15 or $16 shipped.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and I didn't get the expedited shipping. I just paid the standard $3 or something for the shipping, and it's pretty good. You can tell a difference in the picture qualities. You know, with mine, I went through and I picked pictures of myself playing bass. That was partly because I'm awesome, and also because I knew I've been playing bass long enough. I've been playing in bands and playing music long enough that there's pictures that have been taken on a wide variety of devices.
Yeah.
And so it was a good test to see how different picture qualities printed as well. There's a picture of me that was taken on a Motorola flip phone. And that one was the only one that was kind of sketchy, but it still wasn't bad. Like, there was visible pixels, but you could still see the picture.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe I'll try to scan that or something and we can share it.
That's cool though. I'm glad to hear that came out really, really well.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, there's a couple, that time you came to Deer Park and brought your unicorn head, and I was on stage playing with that on. We got a picture of that. I think you took that picture, maybe. Either you or Paul.
I think I took it, and at that time, that would have either been taken with a Nexus 5 or a OnePlus 1.
Yeah.
I don't remember what phone I had at that time.
I suppose I could probably pull up the EXIF information and see what it was. That one, and there's a couple of them. It's also a wide range of like lighting conditions too, because you know I've got outdoor gigs where it's natural sunlight. I've got gigs where we're well lit and gigs where we're, not very lit at all, or if we are, it's like red or blue flashing lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's pretty interesting. Tempted to try and send it down to you so you could check it out.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way. We'll get together here before too much longer, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh,
sometime over the summer we'll end up crossing paths again.
June 28th or July 28th. I don't remember what day specifically. Plan to come up that day.
Okay.
There.
Give me all the information in the off. I'll have a 360 camera by then, so that should be fun.
Okay. The local park, the Anab Awen. I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, but it's by the Gerald R. Ford Museum here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Every Friday during the summer, they do a movies in the park night where they put up a humongous screen and they play a movie, or they play two movies. And it was supposed to kick off tomorrow, which would be Friday the 2nd. Friday the 2nd.
2nd, yeah.
They were going to kick it off with Star Trek, but they resodded all the grass in the park, and the park's not ready. So they're postponing that until, and I don't remember what date they said, if it was July or June 28th. But, so,
all right.
We can go sit in the park, have a beer, eat some food truck food, and watch Star Trek in the park by the river.
That would be a lot of fun.
Right?
That would be an absolute blast.
I was disappointed because I knew I had to leave town, and I'm going to be gone. And it was supposed to be this weekend. And I was like, why? Why am I going to miss the Star Trek one? And then saw it
of all of them to miss.
Yeah, and saw it in the news a couple days ago. They postponed it and did a little jump of joy. I'm like, yay! Like, cool, time to invite Dave. I'm gonna invite the boys up. We're going to see Star Trek.
That would be a lot of fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I managed to get my hands on a few pieces of tech this week.
Yeah.
So, like I was talking about last week, got my my Pixel XL.
Ooh.
Absolutely blown away. Battery life is amazing. The phone's screen is amazing. It's just, I can understand why people even today say that it's still one of the best Android phones ever made. It's just gorgeous. And along with that, I got the wonderful Daydream set, which is a nice little headset you clip your phone in, nice little controller to control yourself while you're in there. Pairs up with the phone real easily. And I've played with it a little bit. I haven't played with it real extensively yet, but from what I've seen from it so far, it's just been absolutely beautiful. It knocks, if you've used the Google Cardboard, this is definitely a massive leap. It's like going from a Honda Civic to driving a Maserati. Well, not quite Maserati. Maybe a Mustang, and then, obviously you got your Oculus and Vive and all that stuff. Which, speaking of,
you say that to the not Mustang fan.
Say what?
So do you say that to the guy that's not a Mustang fan?
Well, I'm not that much of a car fan. I was trying to think of what's a good midline car that's a lot better than a Civic, but not yet quite a supercar.
Corvette. Say Corvette.
Okay, Corvette.
Still, yep,
so
still
it's like getting into a Corvette.
Under 100,000 can go over 100 miles an hour. That's my range. All the Mustangs can do that, but I worked for Ford, so to hell with those things.
But speaking of the Vive and the Oculus, I now have an actually legitimate reason for us to get one. There is a game called Star Trek Bridge Crew. It was just recently released. It is built specifically for VR, and it gives you a bridge station on board a starship. You have your console. You have to interact with your console to respond to orders or things that the captain gives you. It's a co-op game, which means you and your friends together make up the different parts of the bridge crew to work together to complete the missions. In VR. Game looks absolutely amazing.
So is it only available on the Oculus and the Vive?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's much too powerful for a phone. Which, as nice as Samsung Gear 3 is, Samsung Gear VR and the Daydream and those things are, it's still completely powered off of a phone. Even the new standalone stuff that Google is working toward is not going to match the power that you get plugging a Vive or an Oculus.
Yep.
So, but it's also not targeting the same audience. You know, one of the biggest reasons why I got the Daydream was to explore educational stuff and kind of explore what else you can do, kind of like what we're talking about last week. Or was that 2 weeks ago? No, it was last week. We were talking about last week with VR and the other uses and more uses than just entertainment games, etc. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. The other little thing that I got this week was wireless earbuds. So they come in a nice...
Hold on. That sounds like a good time to plug our Patreon page where you could go subscribe to special content and donate money to us. And then we could buy a Vive and play some Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Link will be down in the description.
Yeah. Patreon.com/Wonderbury.
Sweet. So I got these really cool earbuds.
Yeah, earbuds.
Truly wireless Bluetooth earbuds. They are a Chinese, I don't even know what brand they are because they don't say on here. They just say X2T. They're small, so they come in a little carrying case. Hold it up for you guys. But anyway, little carrying case that doubles as a battery charger. You can plug in, but it also has 1,500 milliamp charging base.
Yep.
Capacity of each headphone is about 85 milliamps. But they're these little small things, and I'll turn my head. You can see I'm wearing one right now. You can either have them standalone, as is this way, or you can put them in, pair them together in a series, and you can listen to music or whatever. Actually, not half bad bass. It's kind of 50-50 on the as a Bluetooth earpiece. I guess it's about equivalent of cheap Bluetooth earpieces for talking and conversation side. But as far as music goes, I put these up against a cheaper pair of like Skull Candy, you know, the $30-$40 Skull Candy headphones. They're not that bad. They're real comfortable in the ear. They stay in, surprisingly enough. I've pleasantly surprised for spending $20 what it got.
Yeah. Skull Candy is, although a good known reference, not a good sound quality reference.
Yeah, they're not great sound quality, but they're not priced to be great sound quality either. I mean, when it comes to audio, unless you're talking about Beats, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, unless it's made in Germany, it's probably not that good. They do. So you're using those right now, and I'm so for those of you that don't know how our show works, we have a phone call going through our phones, Dave and I have my earbuds in on the phone. He has his in on his phone. We are recording separately on our computers. So we have a separate microphone that's actually recording what you guys are hearing right now. What you guys aren't hearing is our how we're having the conversation with each other.
Dropped
So
calls and all.
yeah. So I your headphones are a little roomy, a bit echoey.
Yeah.
But I imagine that's because it sounds like from what you described, it's all contained in the ear. There's no external microphone, so
Correct.
you're gonna have the 5 inches of distance between your mouth and the diaphragm of the microphone, which
and not just that 5 inches, but it's also going to travel out and come back to it.
yeah. So yeah, I'm hearing mostly a bounce, probably off your monitor and whatnot.
Probably, yeah.
Which is, we get away with where the microphones are. Like my microphone is not quite a full arm's length from my mouth for recording, but it has
and mine's right here on my lapel.
Yeah, it has a very large diaphragm, so it can handle that kind of air pressure that far away. Yeah, and yours being a lapel style, it's smaller again, but you're are you running that into a sound card?
This is plugged into my mic in on my computer, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, an interface would still help clean that up and give you more clean boost from that than going direct into your. That's what I figured out with my lapel. Was I'm gonna set it aside until I actually get around to getting my interface out and getting that hooked up. But anyway, so
we digress.
We were talking about your earbuds.
Yeah,
and I can hear you mostly clear. Other than you do, you sound roomy. You sound distant. But I can still hear you clearly. I understand what you're saying, which is good. That's the important
as long
thing.
as we can understand each other. I mean, it's not like that quality is going into the recording.
Yeah,
but as long as we hear each other, it's good. And I'm not going to use it for important calls or anything. I mostly use it for music.
Yeah.
I like the one headphone thing, being a kind of a stay-at-home dad with kids and everything else. I can't exactly have a really nice pair of headphones on to enjoy music.
Yeah.
So I really only get to enjoy my music one ear at a time through subpar means anyway. Might as well do it completely wirelessly.
Yeah.
Just makes life a little bit. It's more of a, and I'm sure I know there's better brands out there. This was, like I said, this was a $25 cheap Amazon. What's the cheapest I can get it to me? Pair.
Yeah.
And they actually work halfway decently. And that's pretty much all you can expect for spending that little money. But you're getting actually more than I expected out of that chunk of change.
Yeah. Which is pretty nice.
So, and then, yeah.
I keep seeing the Apple earbuds. I forget what they're called.
AirPods.
I know they sound amazing. I know the call quality is amazing. But you remember 10 years ago, the douchey little Bluetooth earpieces that hung down? They were like 3 inches long.
Yeah.
So Apple took that idea and said, you know what? Let's give them 2 of those. That's what I think. Like, they're big. They're a good size. They're long.
And they hang out of the ear a lot further than I expected them to.
Yeah.
But the funny thing on those is they also cost 6 times as much as these did.
Yeah.
So hopefully they sound okay.
Yeah. That's been the general review I've gotten. Is that they sound amazing. and they're extremely high quality. But I want something that's going to sit in more. But it's not. That's just not a possibility. Not a possibility. I need to go find that guy that was on Shark Tank and get the implant in under my jaw. I think we talked about that.
If it wasn't for where the magnetic connections are on these things to plug back into the base to recharge, I would get the earwax or the whatever that is that you could the putty, and create my own custom form fit with these things embedded in them.
Ooh.
And do it that way. But unfortunately, where the contacts are to recharge is kind of on the inside portion where it would get completely torched out with that. So I'm sure I could probably buy a second pair and figure out a nice little hack around for that. Maybe. Which would be very interesting and a lot of fun to attempt.
Yeah.
But they actually hold in fairly well. I put in the slightly larger, they come with the 3 different size, caps or what those things are called or whatever. And I put in the larger size and it kind of fits a little snugly in. I kind of push it in and it's good to go.
Yep.
I'm pleasantly surprised with them.
Nice. So I picked up another gadget this week too.
Yeah.
I got a
gadget.
A Wemo Smart Plug Mini. So it's a small outlet plug adapter, and it'll fit into one outlet, and you can still use your other outlet. Or I have mine on a power strip currently, but
does that work with IFTTT?
Yes, it does.
So nice.
It came before the rest of my gadget did. So first thing we did was we plugged it into the coffee pot, because I've been looking at smart coffee pots as well. So we had it set on, we got the coffee pot all set up, coffee's in it, water's in it, turn the switch on the coffee pot on, and then use the timer on the Wemo app to turn it on at 7:30 in the morning. And the outlet turns on, coffee maker's already on, technically, although it's unplugged. I had to explain this to Christy. I'm like, okay, even though that plug's in there, it's like it's unplugged. So you have to turn the switch on, like on the coffee pot. You turn that switch on. I'm going to plug it in here. This is off. This plug is off until 7:30 a.m. when the app tells the plug to turn on, and then the coffee pot actually turns on. And it's like this little box just took the plug and plugged it in for you, and then coffee's being made. Yeah, and coffee was made when we got up. Yes. Okay. I got it because I ordered a ridiculous CO2 injection system for my fish tank.
Yeah.
So I have a canister of CO2. I have a powered actuator on the valve that controls it. Mm-hmm. And that's just controlled with power. So when it's plugged in, it opens the actuator, and when it's unplugged, it closes the actuator. So the idea with CO2 in a fish tank is during the daytime, you want to add extra CO2 for the plants so they will grow nice and healthy, but you don't want it at the nighttime because plants actually make their CO2 at night. So I have it set up so the app actually controls that and turns it on at 9:30 a.m. And that's right as my automatic lights on the tank start to ramp up to their daytime temperature of the light. So then that item starts to flood the tank with CO2, which then the plants use it better with the light from the light. So spent $30 on a plug to make my life a little bit simpler with the with the plant growing in the fish tank.
Nice.
Yeah.
That works out pretty nicely then.
Yeah. And I was already looking at like wall socket timers. And they're right, those are $30 and they're just like a mechanical dial, and you set your time and it just like ticks. And once it hits the time, then it kicks on the outlet. I'm like, if I'm going to spend $30 on that, I might as well spend the $30 on the smart one, on the smart plug that I can control from my phone. And then if something happens, I can turn it off remotely.
Yep.
So, little bit of extra that I didn't get, and I spent the same amount of money on that.
Nice.
And now and I was trying to come up with some idea to need one of those, because after buying the light bulb, the LifeX light bulb, I've been just like browsing through smart objects, and I'm like, why do I need a smart plug? Why do I need one of these? I know I do. There's got to be a reason. Finally was like, well, I'm ordering the CO2 thing. Now I'm like, okay, so now I need one for my coffee pot.
Yep.
Or we're going to get the Wemo smart coffee pot from Mr. Coffee. Haven't fully decided there yet. My other thing is I have a Nest. I have a Nest at the shop.
Yeah.
It doesn't work there in the winter because it's something that's beyond me and how the heating system works. I don't know a whole lot about HVAC. But anyway, but it works in the summer just fine.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to use it at home, but we don't have central air, so it wouldn't work at home during the summer. So, been trying to figure that, like, now I'm thinking, hey, I could get a smart plug my air conditioner into the smart plug, put the Nest on, the Nest automatically detects the temperature in the house, and then I could have it so once the Nest detects a high temperature, turn on the smart plug that would turn on my air conditioner in the window, the standard window style air conditioner. Turn on that air conditioner.
That would be beautiful.
And keep that plug on until it hit a bottom threshold. And do all that through IFTTT.
Nice. Yeah, we'll have to go in another episode. We'll have to go back to our kind of smart gadgets and all the smart objects and all that kind of stuff, and push another episode on that, because that's going to require an episode in itself, and we're running out of time on this one pretty quickly. So
yeah, we're cruising through them pretty quick, and I imagine at the rate I've been going, I'll probably keep snagging up random things as I decide I need them.
Yep.
As I find reasons to convince my wife that I need these things.
Yeah. That's the key right there.
Yep. That's what happened with the coffee pot. I was like, well, I've got it. I might as well try it on the coffee pot. And she's like, this is pretty handy. And I'm like, I can order another one. But
I switched to a Keurig system a little over a year ago, and I haven't looked back. I might upgrade it at some point. Do they make a smart Keurig?
Not that I've seen. But I've also been very narrow on my searching. So I'm looking for smart objects that don't require hubs and have IFTTT integration. That way I can have the added extra control. I'm thinking
IFTTT is going to be the way to go, because I was thinking about I was thinking about getting a Google Home. And then I realized that there isn't really anything that the Google Home really does that I can't do from my phone.
Yes, one thing.
Oh?
To set up casting groups, you have to have a Google Home.
Yeah, for the casting groups. But
yep.
I don't know in my current situation I would actually use a casting.
I would. And I know I would because I do it at work. You know, like I can other than manually connecting to the cast, I can still talk to my phone and change what song is playing. And at work, I have the Chromecast audio. And then at home, I have the TV with the cast built in and the Shield that has cast built in. And then I think once I get the upstairs rearranged and get that set up, the smaller TV will have the Chromecast up here as well. So I know I would use it. I don't know if it's worth me getting a home though.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the stuff I was going to use for home, I automatically do with my voice with my phone. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to get a home yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this week, though. Any last thoughts or words? No? Yeah, next week should be fun. We're
supposed to talk about something.
Yeah, we had plenty of stuff on the list, and it just we abandoned our list and went right to this is what we got in tech musings, and kind of fun when that happens that way.
Yep. Wi-Fi connected sex toys. That was the top of my list for things I want to talk about.
Hey,
if somebody
that would be considered a smart object.
Yep.
And we can cover that in an entire episode of Smart Object.
And if
maybe
somebody
we'll put
has
together
one,
the craziest, strangest objects we can find.
Yeah, please let us know so we can do a full review. Or let our wives know so they could do a full review for us.
Yeah, I can see the look on your wife's face when you hand her a smart object sex toy.
Smart object that has a streaming camera built in.
That would be the last time you ever utter the phrase Internet of Things.
Like, hey, I'm getting you connected. Getting you connected.
Until next week, guys.
Later.
Catch you guys later. And out.